It's the Locked On Flyers podcast for Tuesday, May 6th, your daily dose of Flyers news, analysis, and high quality content that wants a refund on those ping pong balls.
Yeah, that's a half hour we're never getting back.
Your Locked On Flyers, your daily podcast on the Philadelphia Flyers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, and thanks for making Locked On Flyers your first listen every day. I am Rachel Donner. I've been podcasting about the Flyers, the NHL, and hockey for a decade, and I'm here with prospect expert and Flyers credentialed reporter for 19 years, Russ Cohen. This episode is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox, no console needed. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV, Locked On to learn more. To keep up with our latest episodes and Flyers news, you can find us at Locked On Flyers on all your favorite socials. And of course, here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Russ, I am very glad we have the Lehigh Valley Phantoms to talk about later in the show because I am mad, I'm sad, I'm annoyed. I mean, I know that's the whole point. It's supposed to be random, but that felt like a personal attack, I gotta say.
Like, nobody gets more excited about prospects than me, but I just can't muster up the same excitement they had for drawing ping pong balls and like yelling wow. And I can't do it.
Well, that's different. Like liking or not liking the process or the drama of it is different than the results.
Oh, no. Look, I figured we get to the result, but I'm just saying, even that was just like, all right, fine. But yes, look, to be honest, I think the process confused most viewers. And so, like, there's that too.
Yeah, I mean, the process didn't confuse me in advance. Like, it made perfect sense to me in terms of how they were doing the draws. I just thought for the second overall pick, they would do a complete 4-ball draw again.
I thought that too. So even we got a little confused at the process, but there were people like, and there was one point I definitely was like, I'm not following. And that was the point, because I thought I read the rules and I guess I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I got the rules in terms of how the ball draws and how the odds would change. Like, I'm spreadsheet math girl, and I got that. No problem. It was just the rest of it and the results that was the issue.
I mean, those odds change though quicker than like a new train at Penn Station. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's how probability works. So I get that. It was actually spot on that front. But at any rate, unfortunately, the luck did not go in the Flyers' direction on multiple fronts. Last night, we got the push down 2 spots because of the New York Islanders and Utah Hockey Club. And we all know my personal feelings about the New York Islanders, and those have not changed and maybe have gotten worse since then. But
I can tell you they will not pick a goalie first like they did the last time. Well, actually, 09 was Tavares. 2000 was GPHO. So it'll be more like they'll get a defenseman this time. That's what they'll do.
Well, we'll see, because they don't have a GM, so we have no clue what they're going to do there. But as far as the Flyers go, being at 6, I think that opens it up into a slightly different tier of players than we were considering. It's kind of in that second group now as opposed to the first group, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And so now in this spot, like, I know it's going to be, Flyers fans are going to be like, well, we're getting a center and that's what we're getting. Well, maybe not. I mean, it depends who falls to you. And that's what you have to look at in this regard. Now, so I can't tell you the team's definitely drafting a center, because I think it's going to depend a little bit on how the other picks go. I think you could hope to get a center because, there's going to be some good ones there. But there could be something better there. Like, you have to just see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Frondell is almost out of reach now, which is really unfortunate.
Him and Denoyer could be out of reach. That's the reality here. And, I don't think Martone would fall to the Flyers, but like that's would be a possibility. Like, just probably not going to happen, believe me. But drafts are weird. Like, stuff happens. So who knows?
Yep, I know. A lot of question marks and a lot more like if then scenarios for the
Yes.
Flyers right now, just because being in that sixth spot, like
Are we going to talk about
that.
if then go to statements? Because I used to do that in computer class. Like, is that what where we're going on this show?
I mean, we're gonna have to because
No, I don't
being at
want to do that
sixth,
again.
that is where we are. There's so many different possibilities now. And if we were higher in 4 or 5, there would be fewer, I think,
It just
options.
with the choices now there or possibilities now. There's a lot more. That's true.
Yeah. So, very disappointing. I think the other disappointing thing, obviously, is that Matvei Michkov did not get the finalist nod for the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year in the NHL. And, I think it's a probability that we talked about and kind
Hmm.
of expected in a lot of ways, just because we knew that, Celebrini had the flash and the very successful season, and considering the injury
Yeah, he
still,
played fewer games.
played fewer games. We talk about Dustin Wolf's success in net for Calgary and basically like saved the possibility of them making the playoffs entirely there, even if they didn't. Just a tremendous rookie season for him. And then, Hudson, who was, I think, both of our picks to win the
He
thing
was. And
overall.
yeah, and I had Wolf fourth, I had Michkov third, and I had Celebrini second. I think that's the way I had it. And look, I knew there was a possibility this would happen. And would it be nice if he was named the finalist? Sure. In
Yeah.
the end, though, was he going to win? No, he
No.
wasn't going to win.
Sure, and I think, there's 2 things about this. I think that first off, Matvei Michkov is very passionate and works very hard, and I think you cannot take anything away from the season that he
No.
had for the Flyers because of this. I think it is just a remarkable achievement. He came over at 19, much younger than we might have thought for
Mhm.
him, and managed in a very tumultuous season for the Philadelphia Flyers, where he kind of got tossed around line mate wise and everything. For him to end up being the rookie goal scoring leader in the NHL is a tremendous achievement. And I, for one, am proud of him for that.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great year.
Yeah. And I think, the other thing is that given who he is and what we know about him, he is 100% using this as motivation.
Oh,
Like,
for
I think
sure.
it bodes well for his future, as, "Hey, remember back when I wasn't even a Calder finalist and now I'm
Yeah.
competing for the Hart?"
He
Like,
knew
I
he
can see
knew who
that,
he was chasing. He knew who he was chasing in the Calder standings. He wanted to be the top guy. Like we knew that.
Yeah, so I look forward to the revenge factor for Matvei Michkov in the future. I think, again, not a great night for the
I mean, the
Flyers
one thing that I
overall.
said would be true, and that was the Flyers were fourth the other day, and they wouldn't finish fourth, and they didn't, because that's how this thing works. That's the only thing I know about this lottery is
Yeah,
wherever you
yeah.
finish, most likely you are not ending up there.
Yep, that is also very true. So, again, we'll have a lot of content around the draft picks and who the possibilities
Yeah.
could be. And, we profiled over 25 guys so far, and we'll continue to do that. We've got at
So if you're
least
just
2 more
starting to
this
do it,
week.
you're gonna have to catch up to us.
So again, I think the only other kind of small bit of news that's Flyers adjacent here is that David Carl signed an extension with Denver
No
to
surprise.
continue coaching there. Yeah, and I don't think it was a surprise, but he made it officially official so that people can stop the swirl
Right.
about him
Well,
potentially
he's got
making
to
the jump.
recruit, right? I mean, he's got to get down to
Yeah,
recruiting, and so like the USHL drafts today, like things are starting to go in motion. Where like you got to start recruiting. Like the season continues for those kinds of coaches, and so yeah, I mean, we did talk about at one point that the Blackhawks would have had interest, and there was some interest, and they spoke to him, and that was it. And so it's over, and he's probably not going to coach in the NHL for another 10 years, if ever. He might be
yeah,
like
I
Jack
think
Parker.
so.
He might just set the record. He's young enough to just coach the most games in college hockey history. So that's probably the way he's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's going to be a hell of a coaching search, and so that is the next
It
thing.
continues.
Yep, that the Flyers have to look forward to, and for us to look forward to this off season. In the meantime, our AHL affiliate, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, have been continuing their playoff run. And we're going to talk about them and our top prospects there and what's coming up next for them, starting after this.
An award winning mattress can change your life. I speak from experience. It happened to me. After years of uncomfortable sleeps, I recently switched to Bear Mattress, and the results were instant. Bear Mattress is designed with a focus on recovery, cooling, and pressure relief to upgrade your sleep and improve your overall quality of life. I used to deal with night sweats, but Bear's best-in-class cooling ensures optimal temperature regulation, which prevents overheating and helps me stay comfortable all night long. Bear offers a wide variety of mattresses, but to get the right one for you, take their sleep quiz that matches you to your perfect mattress based on body type and sleep preferences. Go to bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout to get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com. Use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
On tomorrow's show, we are going to do a kind of early look at free agency and kind of where the Flyers' needs are, how they might be met, and look at some names attached to those positions. And so that is our focus tomorrow, as well as your mailbag questions. So make sure to get those in. You can email us at lockedonflyers@gmail.com, send us a message on any of our socials, or comment on our YouTube channel. Russ, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms are up 2-1 on the defending Calder Cup champion Hershey Bears. And after the first game, which we talked about already on the show, they got shut out 3-0.
Yep.
We were a little nervous about it.
Sure.
But the Phantoms came back and won game 2 on the road 3-1, and then came home and won game 3 4-2. And there's some good and there was some not so good.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's still, I mean, they're hanging with a really good team, and they have the lead now, and Hershey's, on the ropes here, and I fully expect them to give their best game too. So yeah, it's a great series, and they're in the thick of it and could close it out.
Yeah. So as far as like the lineup and things that they adjusted versus the series against Wilkes-Barre Scranton, Jett Luchanko and Alex Bump were put together on a line. Now, we had talked about Luchanko having some chemistry with Anthony Richard and how good that was.
Yeah.
And Lappy decided to break that up a little bit and put Abels and Richard and Grabenkin on a line together, which I think worked.
It was good.
I think all of this worked. It was just a very interesting decision to make, given how well it had been going. The other change that he made was on the fourth line, and he put Elliot Denoyer back in the lineup, who he had sat, and he chose to sat Rhett Gardner. And I think that was really good because we saw Elliot Denoyer kind of come on with some positive progress and play toward the end of the regular season. Yeah, and I just feel like you got to give him a shot here, right? And
and it's good.
Pretty well, I would say, overall in the couple of games, games 2 and 3 so far here. So I think that is interesting. As I said, the Phantoms really responded well to the adversity, and even in game 2, Hershey got back into it in the third and got close, but the Phantoms responded again. And this is where Zayd Wisdom comes into play, right? So, oh my God, like so happy. 2 shorthanded goals in game 2. 2.
Crazy.
And they were tremendous power moves to the net.
Yeah. I saw.
Like so strong on the puck. And it was unbelievable.
Yeah, this is what he was supposed to be. So it's nice to see, it gelling for him.
Yeah. So that was really cool. We'll talk more about that. Now, the not so good in some ways of this series thus far is that in game 3, Parker Gahagen made an awkward save and got hurt. And so Cal Peterson had to come in about halfway through the game and finish it out. And let me tell you, I was very terrified.
Yeah.
Very, very terrified because we know Cal Peterson has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
We've been so thrilled with Parker Gahagen's
Oh, yeah. He's
play.
had a great year.
Yeah, just absolutely spectacular year for the Phantoms and bailed them out in many occurrences and had played so well in the first series against Wilkes-Barre Scranton and then came back even after that shutout, which really was not his fault at all, came back in game 2 and responded really, really well and played lights out hockey. Just really remarkable. But lo and behold, Cal Peterson, 15 out of 15 for saves. He made some incredible plays, especially Hershey was on the power play toward the end of the game and we're trying to make a push.
Yeah.
Just stoned him and made some really good saves. Now, do I worry about Cal Peterson's consistency? 100%.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
can he do it again? I'm not sure. Now, the other aspect of this is that the Phantoms recalled Keith Petruzzelli from Reading, who got knocked out of the playoffs
Right.
because their other 2 goalie options are unavailable due to injury. It would have
Right.
been Carson Bjarnason, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if this would have been the time to throw him in anyhow, but yeah, he's not playing clearly. So
Yeah. So I think the other aspect about the Phantoms' resiliency is they absolutely went to bat for Cal Peterson and stepped up their game to support him,
yeah,
which was really good.
that's what you're supposed
And
to do.
yeah, and you know, the Phantoms were down in game 3 and came back, and Ole Lixell's insurance goal was critical. He came through in that game. And you could see that Hershey took it up a notch in game 3 because, again, they had just lost their game 2 at home,
Right.
wanted to come back. They're the defending champions.
Oh yeah.
But the Phantoms stuck with it and didn't give up. And I just appreciate all of that.
Yeah, I mean they, obviously the lineup changes were good. The players definitely have ramped it up. Not everybody, but some key ones, and that's what you want. That's what you look for.
Yeah, I think so. And like I would say it's been a pretty intense series, pretty physical. There's been game misconducts on both sides of
Expected.
the ice. Yes and no. I feel like yes, because it's the AHL and some of these guys we know, like Garrett Wilson got a game
Oh yeah.
misconduct and that's his rep and that's what he does. But, and it was a terrible hit, like, from behind into the boards that he committed, so he deserved it, but it's also the playoffs, and I somehow expect the intensity to be high, but not the shenanigans, but
Are you watching the
this
NHL playoffs? Like it's the same thing.
I don't know.
It
I don't
is.
know.
Yeah, it is. Watch the Leafs Florida series and then talk to me after.
Yeah, I have not seen much of the Toronto Maple Leafs in these playoffs, gotta be honest. They're, definitely going to tune in for that Florida series,
Yeah,
though. I
Florida's
mean,
really dirty. Really
I
dirty.
know. They're both kinda
Yeah.
so I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to it for sure. I think, the other aspect of this series so far that has been really interesting and good for the Phantoms is special teams. I talked about the 2 shorthanded goals in game 2 that Zayd Wisdom scored in that single game, and Jacob Gaucher scored a shorthanded goal in game 3. They
Yep.
also got a power play goal in game 3, and the only kind of ding on special teams is they gave up 1 power play goal in game 2 among the 3 games,
That's
and
good though. That's good.
really good, right?
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, that's not really a ding.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if
Yep.
that's like the only ding there, then I think they're in pretty good shape, and I'm extremely pleased with that given how inconsistent
Oh yeah.
the Phantoms
This is
special
the
teams
best
have
stretch
been.
that they've had. They definitely got better players inserted late, and it's helped.
Yeah, I think so. And so I think, this has been a really good series for them. I think no matter what happens, we'll get into what's next, but I think there's been a degree of success in this series that we did not see in previous years when they've gotten to round two. And
Right.
so I am definitely pleased with how things are going thus far for the
Yeah,
Phantoms in the
I feel like
playoffs.
there's more confidence right now, so
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Yeah, there absolutely is. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the guys who've stood out, maybe some of the guys who can afford to step it up a little bit more. We are going to do that coming up next. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts, and each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling full longer. And personally, I love the no shells variety because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to shell the nuts before I eat them, but it's such a good snack to have at my desk while I'm working. And I just got a whole other box of the sea salt and vinegar no shells flavor, which is my personal favorite. I am excited to have that at the ready. It's so delicious and healthy too. Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. These little green wonders pack a protein punch. So get snacking and get cracking with this snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right. So the players so far, we talked about Zayd Wisdom for sure. I want to dig into Jett Luchanko's game in round two. I just really think that, we've talked about how we want him to shoot more, and I feel
Yeah.
like he is, but they're still just like either getting blocked or not hitting the net as often. But overall, I do think his game is really strong and he has such great instincts. His assist in game three was a really nice shot attempt that Garrett Wilson scored on the rebound for. That was the power play goal that they scored in the second period. And I think he kind of figured out Hershey as the series has progressed, and his game has gotten better as the series has progressed.
Yeah, I think things are improving slowly for sure. And, I do look for more, but, at least there's improvement here.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Alex Bump, I think that, he's coming into this series with a lot of confidence and bravado from the
Right.
first series here. And we had mentioned he had 8 shots on goal in game one, that none of them went, unfortunately, because again, the Phantoms got shut out in that game. But I think that he's finding that there's not as much space for him to work
Yeah.
versus Hershey than there was against Wilkes-Barre Scranton, for sure. And the thing that I appreciate about his game is that he's not giving up. Like, he keeps trying and he
Mhm.
does skate through into the zone really well. It's just that a team like Hershey is going to bear down and prevent him from getting that sweet spot kind of shot off in, like, I wouldn't say exactly net front, but just outside that, in
Yeah.
that perimeter outside there. That's kind of his bread and butter to some degree. Like, he can't get those shots off as quickly, and that's something he has to learn, but that's why I think this experience is so
Mhm.
good for him.
Oh, it's great. No, the experience is great for him. I think you're right, though. I mean, he is very good at getting in the offensive zone. He doesn't have the greatest edge work, and that does
Mhm.
prevent him from getting away from certain guys laterally. When he can
Right.
get in and get his shot off, yeah, it's fine. But he has to work on the other stuff, and yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time. But I think putting him with Luchanko was a good idea, though.
Yeah, I think so too, because again, Luchenko's game is steadily improving, and he is really smart about where to be when he doesn't have the
Yes.
puck. And
Yeah,
I
he knows
think
how to
that
go without the puck. He does.
exactly, and that's what helps Alex Bump, because then Bump can work around that. And I think
Right.
it's really positive for both of them. Plus, you get the added bonus of them building chemistry together as,
Yeah.
future Flyers, right?
Right. No, and that's always a bonus. That's good.
Yeah, so I love that. Some other guys that have stood out, Helge Grans, we talked about, he got the series winning goal against Wilkes-Barre Scranton. He had 2 assists in game 2, really strong play at both ends of the ice. I just like, oh, I know we talk about him and
We've
how
talked
much
about him ad nauseum.
yeah. Anthony Richard is stepping up
Yeah.
really strongly. 4 shots on goal in game 1. He had that goal in game 2, and I think that he's just such a stabilizing force
He
and
is a big
aggressive.
stable. Yeah. He is a big stabilizing force. I mean, and he's got that speed. At that level, he's a tremendous player. And this is all still really good for him too.
Yeah, and we talked about wanting him as a potential 4th liner for
Right.
the Flyers next season. Obviously depending on what happens in free agency, which we're talking about tomorrow, but Anthony Richard is a really good 4th line option for the Flyers, and he's really showing what he can do in this series. So very pleased with him. I think the other guy who I'm very pleased with is Nikita Gorbenkin.
Yep.
I think he's using that energy to his advantage in this series. He had an assist in game 2, which was a fantastic feed from behind the goal line to Anthony Richard for his goal. A really strong play there. And I thought in game 3, his goal was really good. It was great follow-up and a nice shot after the initial shot by Emil Andre, who is also having a really good series. He had 2 assists in that game that were just super smart plays. He's taking shots that are setting up really good rebound opportunities for the Phantoms. And he had an excellent feed up ice to Ole Lixell for that insurance goal that Lixell's so fast, and Andre can just put it right on his stick
he's got that
and let him
acceleration.
go.
Yeah.
Right. So I just feel like those guys who really need to step up are actually doing it.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. And I agree, Andre, we knew he would be fine. Like he would do this, and it's great. And yeah, as far as Gorbenkin, he's doing better. He's getting better game by game. If he keeps it up, that's great for him because, we already knew he had a track record, a little bit of one in the AHL. He was playing already. So he knows the league, and now he's in the playoffs and his play is not faltered. And that's great.
Yeah. And, Jacob Gaucher, again, we talked about his shorthanded goal to open the scoring in game 3. It was an incredible effort to steal the puck in the offensive zone. And Hershey was just being lazy, to be honest. And Gaucher was right there to strip it and take the shot that just, he's got a really strong shot. So
yeah, he does.
That was great. And, he had an assist in game 2. I will say, like, occasionally he takes a not so good penalty, and he did that like right after the shorthanded goal. And it was a little bit of a momentum killer.
Yeah, that's never a great thing.
But, the PK came through, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but that's definitely something he needs to work on a little bit there.
They have to play pretty mistake-free next game if they want to close it out.
They do. And, I mentioned Ole Lixell's insurance goal, which was really good. I had actually kind of had in my notes that he needed to step it up a little bit more with his shot accuracy. And that was after game 2. I wrote that in my notes. And then in game 3, sure enough, 5 shots on goal. He got a goal. That game 3 was probably his best game. And I should have known better than to doubt him because
listen,
that's who he is.
You've watched enough of him. Like this is what he does. Like he's a really good player at that level. He really is.
He really is. And so again, I think the upshot here moving forward is that we just need everybody else to kind of round out their game a little bit. I think, do I want other guys to step up? Sure. But do we have like 5 or 6 guys that are playing really strong right now? Yeah. And I think that's also good. So I'm really pleased with the overall team effort. Again, moving forward, giant question mark in net.
Yeah.
Hopefully Parker Gahagen is okay, but you never know. But it was
he's got he had days to rest, which is good. So that could help.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the good part of it, right? Because game 4 isn't until Friday.
Right.
And that's also at home. So there's no travel involved. So
right.
the recovery.
If he's going to get better. He's going to get better. I mean, There's a
Yep.
real good chance.
Yeah. And a game 5 would be Sunday. Hopefully we don't need it, but just have
never
to
know.
mention that. Yeah.
Yep.
And the winner of this series will face the winner of the Charlotte versus Providence series, and Charlotte is up 2-0. Game 3 is tomorrow night, Wednesday night. So I'm pretty sure Charlotte's going to win that
They'll
series.
probably close it out.
Yeah, the Phantoms have not had success against Charlotte this season, really.
But this is a different
it's
team now, so
yeah,
yeah.
it is a different team, and I think that's could make a difference. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, though,
We
right?
got to close this one out first, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, of course, will keep track of that, and we'll talk about it probably on next Monday's show, as well as our Tuesday show, to wrap things up for the series, hopefully, and preview the next series. That's what we're going to frame it as for the moment here.
Agreed.
All right, that will do it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow to talk free agency and answer your mailbag questions. So send those in from any of our socials at Locked On Flyers. You can email us at lockedonflyers@gmail.com or comment on our YouTube channel. I'm Rachel. I'm on Blue Sky and Twitter at rmiriam. That's RMIRIAM.
I'm Russ. I'm at Sportsology on the same socials, SPORTSOLOGY.
Thanks for making Locked On Flyers your first listen today. For your next listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. It's every game, every night, until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. You can get local analysis on a national scale with NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL over on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great day, everyone.